what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Welcome to the Low and Slow Barbecue Show here live at the studios of the Mesh.tv network of podcasts. I'm Chigger Willard. I'm excited to have you here today on the Low and Slow Barbecue Show with a new guest in the studio, Benjamin Sullivan from the Cranford Brothers Barbecue. Now, in a place called Hickory, you'd expect to find a few barbecue restaurants, and you will find them in this region of Western North Carolina, but not all of them share space with a new thriving brewery and a breakfast restaurant that opened just this week. 3 operations inside one giant old pawn shop in the city's growing downtown region. Today we meet the barbecue piece of that puzzle and its culinary director, pitmaster, and chef, as I said, Ben Sullivan. We'll talk to him about Cranford Brothers Barbecue, hear about the experience and the behind-the-scenes details in the smokehouse. We'll find out all about him and his barbecue background as well. Be sure to check out our Instagram page for pictures of the restaurant and around that area. We're going to capture them in the next little while. You'll find that at Low and Slow Barbecue Show. You can also meet other Carolina pit masters at lowslowbbqshow.com. Visit the website of Podcast Conversations. Other guys are there. Subscribe to the newsletter. We'll send you Carolina barbecue news, links to our most recent podcast and blogs, recipes from our guests, just like our today's guest, Mr. Chef Ben Sullivan. Now I can introduce you. Welcome to the Low and Slow Barbecue Show.
Hey, man. How's it going?
Yeah, it's great. So excited to have you here.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us in the Mesh.tv network of podcast studio. So let's just take it from the most basic. What is Cranford Brothers Barbecue?
So we're an artisanal barbecue. We're doing slow cooked meats. We're doing Eastern Carolina style. We're doing Texas. We're doing a little bit of South Carolina as well.
Okay. So now tell me, what is the Cranford Brothers Barbecue experience all about? As a customer, when I walk in, take me into what that experience will be.
Sure. You're going to be welcomed in by the smell of that low, slow cooked meat. We're using hickory wood. So you got that unique smell. You're going to get to sit down real comfortable. You can see us in the kitchen pulling barbecue, getting the meats ready for the next day. We are a la carte menu, so you can order quarter pound, half pound, full pound, half rack of ribs, whatever you want, and then pick and choose your sides. So it's really, you build your own experience at the restaurant.
Okay. So what is one thing that I need to order off the menu if I come in? If there's one thing I got to get, excluding the specials, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit, but what's the one thing we have to get at Cranford Brothers?
I think the real sleeper, and no one understands this, is the smoked turkey.
Okay.
It's turkey breast. All we do with the meats is salt and pepper. That's all we do with the rubs, salt and pepper. And then it just really just lets that sweet, succulent turkey come through.
Yeah, excellent. So now tell me about the sauces. I know that you've got 4 of them: Eastern, Western, Bestern, and Gold. What's that all about?
Okay. So Eastern is the one true sauce. It's vinegar based with a little bit of black pepper, a little bit of citrus. Our Bestern is more of a traditional Lexington style. Modern styles, to me, have that like ketchup base, some extra sweet tomato. I've got a recipe that's back about 120 years. So it's tomato, vinegar, and brown sugar.
Okay.
So it's still got the tomato, and it's a little bit of sweet, but it's still twangy. Our Western sauce is that KC style, thick, sweet.
Okay.
Oopy goopy goodness.
Yeah.
Then we've got our gold sauce, which is South Carolina. We've got our Alabama sauce.
Oh, I left that one off the list. Yeah.
And then I just dropped one called Firehouse, which is 5 different kinds of chilies. It's a sweet burn.
Yeah.
And then it creeps up on you, it wants to smack you in the face and thinks a little bit better of it, and then goes back into the background.
Yeah, nice. Wow, that sounds exciting. Can't wait to try that new sauce from you guys. So take me a little bit through what the day-to-day operations look like there at Cranford Brothers. How much meat are you smoking on kind of an average day?
Sure. We're doing between about 120, 140 pounds of shoulder a day. We're looking about, I'd say about 50 to 60 pounds of brisket. Anywhere between 15 to 20 birds, just depends on the day. Chickens. We're doing 5 or 6 turkeys. We're doing probably 10 size ribs a day. And then we've got our sausages.
Yeah,
We're always getting some sausages in. We're burning smoke every day. Nighttime, obviously, we're putting in our briskets and our shoulders. Mm-hmm. In the mornings, we're doing our ribs, our turkeys, our sausages.
Right, to be ready for the afternoon serving that afternoon.
Exactly.
Yeah, so the smoker's running all the time then, basically?
Yeah, 24/7. If we're not hot smoking, we're cold smoking.
Mm-hmm.
We cold smoke our vegetables. All our collards are cold smoked.
Mm-hmm.
We do our mirepoix for our green beans is smoked, so most of our sides are vegetarian or vegan. Mm-hmm. Smoke our buttermilk for our ranch. Whatever we can fit into that smoker, we're going to smoke it.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me what kind of smoker, what the equipment you're using.
So,
you mentioned you're using hickory wood.
We're using hickory wood,
Mm-hmm.
Local hickory wood, and then we're using old hickory pit smokers. They're carousel smokers. We've got two 4 carousel smokers, so we can do about 700, 800 pounds a day.
Wow. How does that compare to what the average Joe can get as a backyard barbecuer? You know, what can I get this roughly equivalent? Obviously, on a volume scale difference.
Right. My smokers weigh a ton each.
That's not something I'm going to pull around with my truck too easily.
Yeah, no. And then, if you're a backyard pit smoker, those barrel smokers you can get at Lowe's or Home Depot. You can fit probably 10 or 12 of those in my smokers.
Right, okay, all right.
So a little bit larger. Larger.
Gives me a little bit of understanding of the scale of it there.
For sure.
So how many people do you have working for you guys? What's powering the production there?
So in the pit itself, we've got a pretty small team. It's about 4 of us. I've got some guys coming in, doing some maintenance, doing some cleaning, doing some trimming for the next couple days. Yep. We talk about production, what we're going to do, what we're looking at for the next couple weeks, that kind of deal.
Okay. And you guys are open 7 days a week. How challenging is it to keep that drive and keep it going all 7 days? A lot of places you hear about are just on the weekends. How is a 7-day operation?
It's like everything else in life. You find that cycle.
Yeah.
We find that cold smoking gets in there on our down days. We can have a little bit more time. We can get to a clean smoker because a clean smoker affects the taste of food.
Yeah.
And then we've got our specials that we do, like our smoked meatloaf on Sundays. We always got to get that ready Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, so you kind of got a plan there.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Always
well, tell me about the catering business. How does that function with the rest of the operation, and how's it going for you guys?
It's going well. We're really starting to uptick. We just signed a deal with LR Football. It's going to be a full experience down on the field. Really fun, right behind the end zone. Boosters going to be able to take advantage of that, eat some food, and watch the game. Yeah.
Wonderful.
So that is just allowing us to hit the market and get more people exposed to it.
Sure.
Those old hickory smokers, they're beasts. George and Tammy. We named them George and Tammy Wynette. George smokes more than Tammy.
Yeah, well, of course he does. Yeah.
So we can really allow us to flex those smokers and really use the machines. Well.
Yeah, wow, that's exciting. We'll look for you guys in the fall at Lenore Run football games. Now look over here to the website here for Cranford Brothers Barbecue. It's cranfordbros.com. I look at the menu there, and I wonder what inspires the menu items, the things that you've selected there for the daily, day-to-day provisions, and then what kind of drives the specials that you select?
Well, we want to highlight what we can do for our specials. So we do some drunken chickens, which is we take our smoked chickens and dip them in sauce and then broil them off so they get nice and crispy. We want to hit a little bit of everything off the menu. So, this is why we do Texas style, Eastern style. We've got the chicken, we got the ribs. The sides are there. They're classics with just a hint of uniqueness to them. So they're still approachable, but, you haven't found them anywhere else.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So anything on the menu there, and maybe that you just answered my question, but that you hold, really near and dear to your heart. What's your creation, your, Ben Sullivan's item on the menu that he loves and fine-tune and wants the world to know about?
Well, I think, I already mentioned the smoked turkey.
Right. Yeah.
The Lone Star is really good. It's a unique look at burn ends. Most of the time burn ends are going to be like super sticky sweet. We do more of a savory style and then turn it into a Philly steak. So we take that, we chop it up. We got caramelized onions and candied jalapenos, and then we do brie cheese. So it's like really over the top, best cheesesteak you've ever had. But you got that real fatty richness of the brisket, the over the top luxurious brie, and then a little bit of the spice.
Yeah, wow, that sounds wonderful. What about the sides? Any of the sides stand out for you? It's like, this is Ben's baby.
For sure. I think the sweet potato casserole was really nice.
Okay, all right. I love a sweet potato casserole.
Yeah, it's not too sweet. It's gluten-free, so everybody can enjoy it.
Okay.
We smoke pecans and coconut, make a streusel topping out of that, and then we finish it with a local sorghum and tamari syrup.
Okay.
So a little salty, a little sweet.
Oh, holy cow, I may have to make dinner plans there at Cranford
Absolutely.
Brothers
Please
tonight.
come on.
Yeah. So, I kind of said from the outset, Hickory is Hickory. We've got some barbecue in town, some barbecue restaurants, but they're not exactly on every corner, and it's not overflowing with them, but there are some out there.
For sure.
How do you guys at Cranford Brothers compare to other that's around the Hickory metro region and then maybe larger North Carolina region? How do you guys kind of compare with any of those?
We're kind of the new kids on the block, obviously. So we have a much more modern touch to it. We're not slabbing everything in sauce. We're not over smoking. We have a light touch to our smoke. I already told you we just do salt, pepper on all of our meats.
Yeah.
We don't hide behind rubs. We don't hide behind seasoning. It is what it is. And then it's the ability to pick and choose what you want.
Yeah.
It's that a la carte style.
Yeah.
I really think that's what separates us.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So, let me ask you this. How do you feel like the local response has been here in Hickory since you've kind of been around, I guess, really since the early part of last year in 2023?
Yeah, we opened up at the very end of last year, Christmas, New Year's, and it's been good. It's been receptive very well. We're really starting to see an uptick, really starting to embrace our Eastern and Texas styles.
Okay. What do you feel like is next for the restaurant? And I want to talk about the larger business here because there's a whole lot going on
For sure.
with the Cranford Brothers Hospitality brand. And we'll get to that. But for the Cranford Brothers Barbecue itself, you mentioned the big weekends coming with Lenore on football. What other things are on the horizon for the restaurant?
Well, it's still just developing that depth of flavor with the place. We're still figuring out what the smokers can do for us. What my particular style of chefing is zero waste in the kitchen, or as little waste as possible. So, we're still developing ways to use everything that we buy and not throw anything away by reprocessing tallow. We just opened up Main Chick Jam and Biscuits, and we're making tater tots, and we're poaching our potatoes with the tallow that we take off of our briskets.
Oh, wow. Holy cow.
So we're just looking at ways to honor the products that we have in the most efficient way.
You don't necessarily have to be always growing, but you can find new efficiency in things that you're already
We can always get better at what we do.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great approach. So you mentioned the Main Chick. Tell me all about the breakfast business. During this week, it opened literally yesterday.
Yeah.
So tell me all about that and our audience as well.
So that's the final phase of our project for the old pawn shop. It's Main Chick Jam and Biscuits. It's going to be open 6 days a week from Tuesday through Sunday. It's over-the-top cat head biscuits with any kind of chicken in it.
Wow.
We're doing fried chicken. We were making tater tots in the house, smothered or just by side. We've got fresh squeezed OJ. You can have it as a beer mosa with one of our City Walk beverages.
Yep.
And then we're doing waffle sandwiches as well.
Yeah, so you teased the City Walk beverage. Tell me about that as well, to kind of finish the 3 on the complex.
Absolutely, yeah. So that was phase 1. City Walk Brewing and Distilling is our brand. We're a full beer brewery, and we are also making spirits. So we're currently producing vodka, gin, and bourbon. On the horizon is rum, and eventually, by the end of the year, we should be making reposado.
Okay.
Agave.
Okay. So what do you feel like, how do you feel like having the brewery next door to the barbecue benefits the barbecue and vice versa, and now adding in the addition of the breakfast place? How do you feel like all 3 of these are working together to kind of support one another, I guess?
For sure. So, one, we use a lot of beer in our cooking upstairs just to showcase what we're doing. 2, beer and barbecue just go hand in hand.
Sure.
If you're cooking it, you got to be drinking a little bit at home. And then just you can spend all day now at at our spot. You can come have a biscuit and a beer.
Yeah.
And then as soon as the brewery opens up, go down, hang out. You can order some to-go food and just enjoy yourselves out on the beer garden patio.
Nice.
And enjoy the outdoors, listen to some music, watch the games, the Olympics going on. It's always fun to watch.
Yeah, and again, during the fall, that's perfect time for college football to get started. If you get started over there at the Main Chick with your TV, I get you guys equipped for TVs, can have a biscuit and a beer and watch the start of the early kickoff ball
Well,
games.
we'll definitely have it on the radio going on.
There you go. That's all right. We can always bring it along.
Yeah.
And check it out when they do open up. So, now that we've kind of delved a little bit into, the Cranford Brothers hospitality, I want to talk about Ben here for a couple of minutes.
Sure.
Who is Ben Sullivan? How did you get connected, first of all, with Cranford Brothers hospitality?
So I used to go to the Shirley Steakhouse. It's a classic standard for Hickory.
Definitely.
My buddy James Vinson was the bartender over there.
Sure.
And he got me hooked up with Zach and the chef team over there. And I started doing wine dinners. And the opportunity for this project at the pawn shop came open, and they asked me if I'd like to join and help them grow their business. And it kind of coalesced into one.
Yeah. And so you're, as director of culinary operations, I guess is kind of what the title I see that's out there. What all does your role entail amongst, all the food operations?
For sure. So I maintain all our kitchen operations for all our Granny's Kitchens, Standard Oyster Company, Shirley Steakhouse, obviously Cranford Brothers Barbecue, Main Chick.
Yeah.
Just ensure day-to-day cleanliness, sanitation, execution, to help develop menus, any specialty items, any charity events. I'm out there helping the community.
Great. Wow. I'm sure that definitely keep you busy. How many locations is that?
Let's see. I think there's 3 Grannies. There's Standard. There's Shirley. Downtown, that's 8 or 9.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it keeps me busy for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And some of those Granny's locations are over in Burke County too, so it's a little ways outside of Hickory.
Yeah. Definitely see a lot of the landscape.
Yeah. So, how did you get into, let's take it back a little bit further. How did you get into food service and what brought you into this field?
Sure. So growing up, my dad threw a lot of parties. So
Okay.
I was always either in the kitchen helping him cook or helping him dish food out or getting the table set and making sure everybody had a good time. Just came to me naturally after my first life.
Yeah.
Didn't do what I thought it was going to do.
Right. Okay. Growing up, kind of getting into it early on, that's a common theme among a lot of people that are in the food service for sure. So, we talked a little bit earlier, outside of the Cranford Brothers. I know you're very active out in the world. So, talk to me a little bit about that. I know you've got something that goes with some local Hickory producers in the area.
Yeah, I work very closely with Raising Roots Farms out there on Snow Camp. They're great. They do old spot pigs. It's a rare heritage breed pig. I've helped them develop a couple of their menu items. I'm also on the farmers market board for the downtown Hickory Farmers Market.
Right.
So I'm really always looking to strengthen and develop the food circle that's in this area.
Mm-hmm. And then been involved with events with Co-op Extension, and I know
I've been in
competitive things going on. You stay pretty busy on the weekend, apart from everything else.
Yeah, to my wife's chagrin, I can't say no.
Yeah.
So I just got done with the Co-op Extension for North Carolina. Just did a Heritage Fire, which is a live fire cooking competition.
Yeah, wow.
National. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm sure. What kind of things do you take away from events like that you might bring into the day-to-day business at Cranford Brothers and the other operations?
Sure. You never know when you're going to make great connections with farmers or other chefs or see techniques and new flavors. So that's why I try to go out there and do those.
Yeah. So is there anything else that you enjoy particularly about one piece of the Cranford hospitality work life over another? Do you enjoy the barbecue? Do you enjoy I'm going to assume you enjoy the barbecue because this is a barbecue podcast, but is there one area of where your work that you enjoy maybe over another?
For me, it's really the problem solving aspects of it. Every day is a unique experience in every location.
Okay.
There's always different challenges, either cooking wise, guest experience wise. It's always something new. It's always something fresh. And I really like to see the experience from the customer. It can change their day-to-day world, and that experience changes my life.
Yeah, wow, that's wonderful. So, how do you feel like I know you had some formal education at Johnson and Wales. How did that help shape what you've done in the barbecue world?
Sure. So it goes back to what I was talking about with the like zero waste. So I bring a lot of technique driven, where, not to besmirch anybody that's been in the barbecue business for a long time.
Yeah.
But I bring in a lot of techniques. I like to be cognizant of what's going on in my kitchen and try to find ways to make it more efficient.
Right. How do you feel about pushing the envelope? How do you feel like you guys might do that in the barbecue restaurant space outside of that sustainability piece, which I think is really kind of pushing the envelope?
Yeah. So, I mean, we're always trying new things. I just, a couple of weeks ago, we smoked some tallow for our smash burgers. And we left the tallow in the smoker overnight for about 14 hours. And when I came in the morning, it came up around the carousel and it popped up and it looked like Cocoa Krispies, Fruity Pebble, or, Cocoa Pebbles.
Yeah.
And, the mine started. So I drained them all off and I tossed them in a bunch of cocoa powder and sugar. And man, those things slap.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm going to use it, but there's like a secret superpower in there.
Always something percolating.
Yeah, for sure.
Where do you turn for advice?
I've got a lot of good friends. I go online as well. I've got a lot of good friends, and the industry has been around for a long time. So go to that, go down to the books, get down and dirty with that.
Sure.
And then hopefully soon here I'll be traveling to Austin to see what the other half lives.
Yeah, how they do it out west,
Yeah.
and some of those also ran barbecue states like
Right.
Texas. You mentioned the online and getting advice. How much do you consider any of that unrequested advice or opinions that come out on online media? Whether it's the Facebook and Google reviews, those types of things.
Sure. I mean, there's a place for that. You can't take it too hard, too much, because everybody's got an opinion.
Sure.
And with online, people don't see face to face. They tend to have a little bit more bolder opinions.
Definitely. They may or may not be real human beings.
They may or may not be real human beings. And you take it with a strain of salt. It is what it is.
From a kind of more of a business approach perspective, how much has the influence changed for things like Google reviews and Yelp reviews and those things during the whole course of your career? Because you've been doing this here for a little while. How much has that influence changed from the start to what you see now?
I think from the start, it was a huge game changer when they first started doing online reviews and your Yelps and your Googles and all that. It could make or break a business.
Yeah.
I think now you got your Karens and your Chads, and once people suss out who's a Karen and a Chad, they kind of like
easy to see too.
Yeah, they kind of okay, you got your moment, you go on, and then the middle path will find its way.
Gotcha, and that's all you really need to cover to be successful.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. You're not ever going to please everybody.
Yeah. So let's talk about your secret recipe, and I'm glad you mentioned the Alabama salsa earlier. I can't believe I forgot it. Why did you feel like you wanted to share that with the folks out in the world?
Well, I think it's really versatile. It goes really well with barbecue, pork. It can go well with brisket, chicken. It's just a good dipping sauce. It can go on salads, sandwiches. It's a one-stop shop.
Yeah, and we're going to include that recipe on the blog at lowslowbbqshow.com. We'll have the details as well as a transcript sort of our conversation here, a recap. When somebody's making the Alabama white sauce, what do they need to keep in mind when they're preparing it?
Take a deep breath. It seems weird, but by the end, it will taste delicious.
Yeah. What seems weird about it?
Well, I think that white mayonnaise going on a bunch of hot food just seems a little bit weird.
You're right about that. Not everybody is going to definitely be hip to doing that kind of
for sure,
thing.
For sure.
So we'll have to check that out. And if folks can learn how to make it themselves there when they check out the recipe at lowslowbbqshow.com. So what's next? What's next for Chef Ben Sullivan? What's your next culinary goal?
Just keep getting better. Keep finding those local farmers and artisans that can help me express what food is in Hickory in North Carolina.
What keeps you going? Why do you do it? Because that's a busy schedule that you shared, and it doesn't sound like there are any days off tucked in between.
There are no days off.
What fuels you to keep doing it with such passion?
This is what I was meant to do. I love it. I love making people happy. I love the hard work because it's an immediate return. It's not like you can wait 6-8 months to do this. And then, I just had a baby girl, and just watching her grow up and getting her involved in all this makes everything else insignificant.
Bringing along a new generation of
Absolutely.
barbecue. Congratulations
Thank
there
you. Thank you.
on the new baby daughter then. So, we're going to wrap it up here with the low and slow showdown. Some quick hitters here, sort of yes, no, one word answers. Maybe we'll get a little more explanation in some places. So you mentioned hickory is what you guys are using. Why do you use hickory?
I think it's a good all-around wood. It doesn't add too much over bittery flavors to it. And we got a lot of it around here.
Yeah, we do for sure in the Hickory Metro. What's your favorite to cook? Pork, beef, chicken, turkey, or something else?
My family's been in North Carolina since the early 1700s. Pork. That's true barbecue.
What is your favorite to eat? Same answer?
Yeah. I mean, I will pull a lot of stringy meat out of a pig.
What is your favorite side?
Sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes.
Yeah, those sweet potatoes slap.
What is the best state in these United States for barbecue?
North Carolina.
For sure. So what is the best North Carolina barbecue style? Eastern, Western, or the mustard variety they've got?
There's one. It's called Eastern.
One, okay. Fair enough. But you've got Western and you've got Western and you've got... But those aren't Carolina, right?
There's one. There's Eastern.
Eastern style. Is the meat better with or without the sauce?
You got to have some sauce.
What's your favorite non-barbecue meal in the Hickory Metro?
That would be Pho 777.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, man.
Very popular. That's on 70 in Conover.
It's the best pho in an hour and a half away.
You share that opinion with many other people. So I know some other people who are a big fan of pho. And your favorite non-barbecue meal in North Carolina?
Ooh. Oh, man. Anything that somebody makes for me.
Is barbecue a verb or a noun?
It's a life.
And that, my friends, is the lowdown from Benjamin Sullivan, the pitmaster at Cranford Brothers Barbecue and the culinary director for Cranford Hospitality. Ben, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. You've been listening to the Low and Slow Barbecue Show on the Mesh.tv network of podcasts. Be sure to visit us online at lowslowbbqshow.com. You'll find the blog. You'll hear other podcast episodes with our Carolina Pitmasters. If you like what you hear on the show, please give us a 5-star review. That helps other people find our podcast, and we hope you'll share our podcast with other people as well. Remember, visit lowslowbbqshow.com and subscribe to the Lowdown newsletter. We'll send you the latest podcasts, blogs, barbecue recipes, some of the favorites from the Mesh.network TV of podcasts. So that'll come every Tuesday morning. Again, special thanks to our guest, Ben Sullivan from Cranford Hospitality. Thanks as well to our producer, Andrew Moose, and the whole team at the Mesh.tv network of podcasts. Most especially, thank you for listening to the Low and Slow Barbecue Show. Remember, for the best barbecue and the best barbecue podcast, keep it low and slow.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.